Brad's Status is written and directed by Mark White. He is the writer of School of Rock. That's the only other one of his movies that I've seen. And stars Ben Stiller as Brad. What this movie's about is a father going on a trip with his son to the Boston area, and they're checking out colleges like Harvard and a local community college out there. And the son is interviewing to get into the college, but the story really isn't about him. It's more of a setting to tell Brad's story. And the whole time, he's going through this midlife crisis of sorts. He's questioning what he's done with his life, if he's good enough for himself, for his peers, because a lot of people that he went to college with are now very successful. There's one played by, I believe, Michael Sheen, who is a big political guy. He writes books, he gives talks, he worked at the White House. He has another famous friend who's a billionaire, someone else who's getting married and being happy, someone who lives in Hawaii for the rest of his life, and he's sitting there, he's the runner of a non-profit organization, and he's wondering, have I done enough with my life? And so that's what this movie's about. It's about him trying to figure out if he's done enough for himself. And also, he's trying to make sure that his son gets the best opportunities possible. I really liked this movie. There's a lot of negative feedback that I've seen. It's not overwhelming, but it's last time I checked it was a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. I started reading some of the negative reviews just to figure out why, and a lot of it boils down to Brad being an unlikable character, and I disagree. The reason that I think this movie actually works so well is because it focuses solely on Brad. The entire movie is laced with voiceover narration by Ben Stiller. And that's where this movie stands out, because the whole time you're seeing everything from his perspective. And I think it works very well. You understand where he's coming from, you understand what he thinks about everything, and that works very, very well. And I don't really understand how, just because he's so well developed, I feel, you really even if you don't agree with the things that he's doing, you understand where he's coming from. So I don't find him to be a dislikable character, even though he does some things that I wouldn't do, or he thinks things that I wouldn't think. I still think that he's a good character. And a lot of people are thinking, well, I don't want to be stuck with him for a whole movie, so I didn't like it. That's the general negative feedback I've been seeing. But I thought that it worked very well for that very reason, that people seemed to not like it. I thought that Ben Stiller did a very good job, both with the voice acting for the voiceover narrations and also on screen. I thought he did a very good job as well. The son did good also. I think that this movie really just sort of stands out in the execution of it in terms of the script. Because the direction isn't anything spectacular, but the writing is where it really comes into play. And I think that it does a really good job at getting into Brad's head, into his mind, to figure out what he's thinking, how he's reacting to all these situations. And it is very well done in that respect. Other pluses, this movie's very funny. And sometimes it doesn't really work. Like sometimes instead of a dramatic moment, it will go to a funny moment. And that I always prefer to go for drama over comedy when possible, especially when it can be done right. But the comedy, for the most part, works very, very well in this movie. It's very funny throughout the whole thing. It is a drama first, comedy second, but sometimes it's on the borderline. I just don't think they balanced it as well as they could have. But it's still well done. I liked it. I think that another good thing are the performances all around. I already mentioned Ben Stiller. I think I mentioned whoever plays his son does a good job too. Everyone does good. Ben Stiller's obviously the best. I don't see him getting any sort of special attention, especially with the somewhat negative criticism of the movie. So that's about all I have to say for Brad's Status. I would say it's definitely worth checking out. Thanks so much for watching. Please be sure to subscribe and like the video, and I'll see you next time.